Have you ever found yourself scrolling through your feed and just feeling completely drained? Tired of the constant performance, the perfect polish, the pressure to present this flawless life? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into one of the most talked about and, honestly, one of the most complicated qualities of our time: authenticity. So let's just dive right into the big question, the one that kind of haunts our digital lives. When it seems like everyone is trying so hard to look authentic, does the word even mean anything anymore? Is our big search for realness just turning us into better actors? And look, this isn't just some vague feeling in the air, it's a full-blown cultural moment. Just last year, in 2023, Merriam-Webster officially named authentic their word of the year. That tells you something huge, that all of us, together, are searching for what's real, both in the world and, in ourselves. But that search leads us straight into a really fascinating problem, what we can call the authenticity paradox. It seems like the harder we chase it, the more it just slips right through our fingers. On paper, the definition seems pretty simple, right? To be authentic means you're not a fake, you're true to yourself. It's all about closing that gap between who you are on the inside and how you show up on the outside. Easy. Well, not quite. Because, let's be honest, we're living in a world of AI-generated everything, deep fakes, social media filters, and these super carefully crafted online identities. We are constantly second-guessing what we see, what we hear, and that skepticism, it's starting to turn inward, making us question ourselves, too. And here's where you can really see that inner conflict laid out. On one hand, we have this ideal of a genuine self, someone who's unapologetic, consistent, at peace. But on the other hand, the world we live in tends to reward the performed self, the one that's curated to be relatable, polished into a personal brand. Which brings us right back to the core of the paradox. If you have to carefully stage a photo to look candid, or edit a story about your struggles to make it more inspiring, are you actually being authentic? Or have you just gotten really, really good at the performance of it? Now, this paradox doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's fueled by a much bigger social engine. It's our entire ecosystem, an environment we can call a culture of curation. And in this culture, authenticity itself has become a marketing tactic. It's wild. Those supposedly raw moments we see online, there's still choices about what to show and what to hide. Vulnerability gets packaged just right so it'll go viral. We perform just enough imperfection to seem human. And it all leads to this incredible irony. The very thing we thought was the antidote to performance just becomes another mask. And all of this performing, this endless curating, it leaves us feeling totally burnt out. It creates this deep, profound hunger for something stable, for truth, and for real human connection that doesn't feel like it's part of a sales pitch. So, where do we go from here? What's the way out? Well, this is where we have to make a huge shift in our thinking. We need to move away from seeing authenticity as a performance we have to perfect and start seeing it as a practice we can cultivate day by day. Just ask yourself this. What if you didn't have to prove to anyone, not even to yourself, that you're the real deal? What if authenticity isn't some badge you earn, but it's just a way you choose to live, in this moment and the next one? And this really shows that shift in mindset perfectly. Performance is all about projecting an image, proving your worth, and chasing this impossible idea of perfection. But practice is totally different. It's about aligning your actions with your inner values, connecting with others, and just giving yourself permission to be, human. So that brings us to the final, and I think the most important part of this whole discussion, the art of alignment. This is the practical stuff. How do we actually do this? This whole practice of alignment really comes down to 3 core ideas. First, aligning your values and your actions. Do the things you do every day actually reflect what you say you care about? Second, aligning how you see yourself with how you act. Is the person you are in public pretty much the same person you are when no one's watching? And third, aligning your imperfections with your humanity. Basically, accepting your flaws instead of trying to hide them all the time. And you can start really small with this. Here are a few grounding practices. Just try to pause before you post something or walk into a room and ask yourself, is my goal here to express something true, or am I just trying to impress someone? You could also practice small bits of honesty. Just admitting I'm tired or I don't know the answer can be incredibly powerful. And, maybe most importantly, curate your connections. Spend time with people and in places where you don't feel like you have to put on a show. You know, at the end of the day, maybe authenticity isn't something we get to declare about ourselves at all. It's not a label we just get to claim. Maybe it's an experience other people have when they're around us. It's that feeling of safety and trust that you get when you're with someone whose words and actions and spirit all seem to line up. And isn't that really the goal? To just let go of that impossible standard of being flawless or perfectly polished. To simply give ourselves, and maybe others, the space to be real. In a world that's so hungry for truth, that might just be the most powerful practice of all. If you spend any time online, you've heard it a million times. It's the universal sign-off, the creator's mantra. Like, share, subscribe. We hear it so often it's just kind of become background noise, right? But what if I told you those 3 little words aren't just a polite request? They're actually a powerful set of commands that literally shape the internet you experience. Just put it all together one more time. Liking is your vote for quality. Sharing is your tool for expansion. And subscribing is your act of community building. Every single click has a distinct and vital impact on the digital world we all live in. So, the next time you hear that familiar sign-off, remember this. You are not just passively watching something. You are an active participant. You are a curator, deciding what content deserves to be seen. You're an amplifier, giving it a bigger voice. And you're a patron, supporting the creators that you really value. So remember, your clicks have real weight. They actually shape the internet that we all share. They can elevate an unknown artist, they can spread a vital idea, or they can build a global community. You hold that power in your hands. The only question left is, now that you know the code, how are you going to use it?